What's up? So I'm gonna tell you guys here why I quit doing SEO. And if you're doing SEO, I'd at the very least tell you there's a smarter, better way to do SEO than most people are doing it. And we gotta say hello to our little horse friend and Heidi B. So, I'm often asked a lot by people who do SEO for a living, like, why don't you do SEO anymore? Like, can you not rank? No, it's not because of that. And what I found, and I learned this the hard way, by the way, I'm going to tell you a little damaging story here, but it's true. One of my first ever ideas, I was hanging out with a mortgage broker friend of mine named Mark. And Mark's a super cool dude. And somewhere casually in the conversation, hello, Mark says to me, hey, I am spending $30 on these leads. Something like that. I don't remember the exact price. And he said that the problem is, though, they sell the same lead to 20 other mortgage brokers. And I realized really quickly that someone was getting an email contact form and selling that lead for $600. Let's keep Heidi and the horse in there. I know I pace a lot. And my mind immediately lit up with greed. I'm like, you can just sell somebody's contact information that you captured on a website for $600 and you can sell like a $30 lead 20 times over. I'm like, I'm in the mortgage lead business. And so I spent a year and a half trying to get ranked. It was probably maybe like 16 months, maybe not exactly a year and a half, trying to get ranked for mortgage keywords. And I was really good, but they're like super, super competitive. And I went like national big keywords. And I kind of believed I could just win any SEO battle at that time. So I eventually did get to like number 3. And I started getting a whole bunch of free Google traffic. And I found out that getting people to submit an email form for a mortgage was harder than I thought, because I didn't really have anything unique to say. And so I spent the better part of 16 months building links every single day and grinding it out. If you've ever done SEO, you know what a grind it is. And eventually, after a year and a half of doing this day in and day out, 7 days a week, I kid you not, I was not taking time off at that time. And IDB's playing with leaves. And all of that at the end to find out my idea was no good. And I also had an experience. There was a doctor, I'll leave out his name, but he's a relatively famous plastic surgeon I was doing SEO for. And it's actually still to this day the best SEO I've ever done. It's Beverly Hills guys. Actually did some of Tiger Woods' girlfriends, many of them. And we ended up getting him number 1 for like 50 out of 100 of his main keywords, and probably top 3 for like another 30. So like 80% of his keywords, he's top 3, and he started on page 20. It was like pretty heroic because plastic surgery is no more competitive anywhere else than Beverly Hills. So like we went into the most competitive place and got him number 1. It's my greatest SEO success. I remember I went to meet him in Beverly Hills, and when I got there, I was expecting, there goes Heidi B. I was expecting them to roll out the red carpet for me and say, there is our SEO god, thank you for all your wonderful work. And I remember I got the exact opposite response. He said to me, which is pretty fucking disappointing, he said something along the lines of, well, if the phone doesn't start ringing, I'm just going to have to go with someone else, because clearly this relationship is not working. And it occurred to me, which many of you will realize sometimes, that he actually had a conversion problem, because I was just using the website he gave me, and I was getting him $500,000 a month in free traffic, but it didn't mean anything to him because it wasn't converting, and it was ugly, and it was shit. Actually, it wasn't ugly. It was pretty, but it was boring. Like you could bore somebody to tears. And I realized that SEO is not the be-all, end-all that we're sold when you first start doing SEO. That like, if you just rank number 1 in Google, you get all the money. And I, figured I'd be getting Ferraris and stuff. And somewhere along the line, I realized it's actually a lot easier just to go and get clients' results directly. And I'll tell you the biggest thing that most clients miss, the easiest thing you'll ever do, is helping them get more out of the clients, customers, and patients they already have. So my last girlfriend was a Groupon junkie. We went a whole bunch to Groupon. And we'd try all these new restaurants. And this is basically what the restaurants want when they hire a marketing person like us. They want new business, bring me new people. And I'll tell you, we probably tried about 50 restaurants on Groupon. And probably only a handful of them I ever went back to twice. And less than that, 3 times. And none of them I went to 4 or more times. And I'll tell you, just from going through that experience, that not one single restaurant did anything in the world to make that happen on purpose. To say, hey, here's a free coupon to come in next time. Nobody said, hey, you tried the chicken? Come in tomorrow for the steak and we'll give you a special deal on that. Actually, I'm a vegetarian, so that probably wouldn't have went so well. Although I wasn't then. So anyway, that, you know, it's the kind of point, like, you can give them millions and millions of new people, but the actual hole in their bucket is elsewhere. So I'm not saying you shouldn't do SEO. It's a powerful thing. If you rank somebody, you know, they're my business top 3 in Google, you can often bring an avalanche of new business and change their entire life. But in my experience, there's usually easier ways. And one of the things that will actually make your SEO easier to sell and work better is if you combine those 2 ideas and you say, hey, we'll use our SEO for the front end, but we have a little bit of back end campaign so that when people come into your restaurant or whatever business you're working with, that we have a way to bring them back. Here's my Heidi bee playing with leaves. Heidi! Heidi! Hello. So yeah. Sorry, bunch of bicycle. So all I'm telling you, if you want to make your life easier with SEO, is think more about how you can combine that with actually helping them with their conversion, which is where they really need the help. And you do that, and what you'll find is your SEO stuff will work quicker, which is usually the biggest objection, is keeping clients long enough to not quit right before it works. And if you do something that works immediately, they tend to love you on day 1, which doesn't typically happen in SEO. So hope that makes your journey easier. And make sure you click the subscribe if you're not already part of this. And I'm going to go parenting and picnicking.